light do I turn on?
There we go.
Okay.
Okay, we are in session now. I would ask if you can to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, for roll call, I have Bill Purcell.
Here.
Ken Sebastian is not here. Daniel Browning.
Here.
Donna McIntyre.
Here.
Amy Meyer.
Here.
Norman Warner.
Here.
Bill Folk.
Here.
And Alfio Saita is not here. We did have one leave the board. Chad Van Ryn is no longer with the board. And then I will move on to, I am going to reorganize the agenda and open the floor. We need to do, since it's the first of the year, a reorganization for president, vice president, and this year, a secretary.
I'll nominate Bill for president.
Let's see where my friend.
I ain't there for enough, I invited you.
Motion to close nomination.
Nominated you.
A second?
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and I think that makes the floor yours, Bill.
Yeah, okay. Well, floor is now open for vice president.
Nominate Donna.
I'll second.
Okay.
Motion to close nomination.
Okay, is there a second?
We keep either one.
Second.
Second to close
Close
nominations.
nomination.
Have a second.
I'll mark the meeting.
It's been moved and seconded to close nominations. We are limiting, so that takes a 2/3 vote, just so you know anytime you limit something. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. You say we're putting in a secretary this year?
Yes, because I know in past years that we hadn't, and then we got kind of hammered on that before, not voting in an official secretary. You guys have to actually choose me before I can do the job.
Okay, so it's not that
Or
you
whoever.
want the job, it's,
Well, yeah, I mean, it's there, though.
this makes you a bigger target. Okay.
I'll nominate Heather as our secretary.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any other nominations?
Move nominations be closed.
Second.
Second. We're properly moved and seconded. We close nominations. All those in favor, please raise your hand. That's because it's a 2/3 vote. All opposed? Heather, you're elected. Okay. While we're under that, can we just go on to calendar of meeting dates? We've got the agenda. Are we all right with the third Tuesday of the month?
What's your name?
Do we have any conflicts like holidays? or-
I should have accounted for those. I don't think that I've missed any.
Okay.
I tried to account for all holidays, for not just the meeting dates, but also deadlines, and account for weekend days and all of that before I submitted it to you.
Is there a motion to keep it at the,
I'll make a motion to approve it.
is there a second?
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-6-0. Now, we move to the approval of the minutes you have before you.
I didn't see anything popped out.
No.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the minutes, please say aye.
Aye.
All
Abstain.
opposed?
I wasn't here, so I'll abstain.
Understand. So it is 4-2, or 4-0, 2 extensions. All right, moving on to continued review of ordinances. We're under subdivision, which is big May I, before we go there, may I tell you that this past week, I met with some other people from the county. We met with the people putting in the egg laying operation. There is nothing in our rules that say we could stop them if we wanted to. I just had some questions about their biosecurity and some things like that. And I left the meeting feeling better than I did going into it, but still, there's a risk there to us poultry producers that we've never faced in this county. But
Bill, did you talk to them at all about their entrance on that county road?
yes,
Did they have any?
they said the state told them they could not come out on 231.
Really?
Which, if you can't come out on 231, why would you come out on 231? But
Okay.
So did I hear right that there was the potential that they would do some work on the road to widen it
Yes.
at that point?
yes, they're supposed to be good.
That'll help.
There was a lot of, we're going to do this promises that I wish we had
Yeah.
nailed down, but I'm not the attorney, so. But, yeah, okay. But I don't want to ever attend a meeting, not tell you we were at a meeting, and
Good to hear.
one of the commissioners was going to meet with them, and John Reeves called me and he said, you know the right questions about chickens to ask.
All right, you'd be the main
You need to
part.
be there, so.
Gotcha.
Was there, but incidentally, if someone's looking for a job, they'd like to hire someone local. They say 55 to 70,000 to
Yes.
run that barn?
Yeah.
What? To run the
Fit-
barn? Or no?
And everything's automated. I mean, probably need to be more of a mechanical engineer than a chicken farmer, but anyway, just so you know. And no, I'm not interested because I could not raise chickens if you do that. So. All right, moving to subdivision control.
Bill, can I bring up one thing from the last meeting?
Yes, ma'am.
There was an item you brought up that you had a really good idea on, which was the, let's say, homesteads that don't look very good. And I think you had mentioned that there's no enforcement action.
Correct.
And putting the ability for the finding process to be put in place, if whoever that person is that goes out and looks at it, if they can't come to an agreement, the finding process, and that would be pushed over and attached to property taxes, I think is what you had said. I'm recalling
That's what I think ought to happen, but I don't know how you get from that point to being
Right.
law.
But I think we dropped that, and I don't know if that's something we should finalize or just let it lay.
I did actually submit that suggestion to the commissioners when I sent in the review changes. I just listed it under something I was requesting rather than putting it under the Plan Commission's decision because the Plan Commission didn't ultimately make that choice and I didn't want to mislead anyone. But that is something that I did send in to the commissioners as a suggestion because I think it's important.
Okay.
The whole point of all this is you can have all the rules you want, but you don't enforce it.
Right, exactly.
I think I saw a sign once that you accept what you tolerate.
Yeah.
All right. Subdivision control. And I know, Bill, you had some thoughts.
Yeah, I did. So this was one, since this has come up several times since I've been on the board, and of course my experience as well. So I took a lot of time to read through what our current ordinances are, what the UDO had come up with, and I actually also went out and read 2 other counties' ordinances that are related to this. And after I read that, and I read the UDO, I came to the conclusion pretty quickly that what was in the UDO was much closer to what was needed than what was in our ordinances. So my thought was, would it be more simple for our recommendation to take the UDO verbiage? And when I read through it, I'd say about 70% of it is appropriate and relevant. And then the other 30%, probably 20% of it isn't appropriate for Owen County. And then the other 10%, maybe yes, maybe no. But I'm thinking, would it be easier for us to go through and take that and throw out what we don't like than trying to take the ordinance we've got, which is, I think, only 3 pages, and build that up?
Well, we could use it for a template.
I mean, as I'm reading through the template, I could very quickly go, okay, that needs to go, that needs to go, that obviously needs to stay in. And that seemed a lot easier than me trying to come up mentally with what do we push into our ordinance. So I just wanted to throw that out there, because getting to the point where we would need to be in relationship to other counties similar to us, because I looked at one county that wasn't near as rural as us, and I looked at one county that I thought was a really good county that was very rural. And a lot of that verbiage does need to be in there. If it's not, we make our job really, really hard when a petition does come to us. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
So everybody's finished, because if we're gonna do that, probably we need to have the UDO here with us.
Just
do
that,
it.
just that section.
Yeah, just
Just
that
Just that
section.
section.
Yeah, just that section.
Maybe we can get something worth $86,000.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think so, but,
Yes, I think you're right. We could scale it down easier, and then we could build this up,
You're bringing it up.
especially when it's already written as a document.
Yeah.
It's in piece.
I
Yeah,
mean,
if they've already got the wording, then we can pick and choose what we want, yeah.
and I would say if we do have a copy of it as a Word document, if you wanted me to try to go through and redline, because if anyone's familiar with redlining software,
Right.
you can just basically take the UDO and just put a line right through it what we don't want, or type in right next to it what we do want.
And highlight.
I mean, I'd be happy to work with Heather when she's better, and take
Not today.
a swing at redlining it, so that would even speed our process up a little bit more.
The one thing that I would really like to see, and I don't know if that's a bold or a bigger font, but here where it says, prior to submitting the application under this subchapter, the applicant shall participate in at least one pre-design conference with the planning commission for the purpose of discussing in an informal manner the subdivision proposal, including street layouts and yada, yada, yada.
This is second page, sorry.
Yeah.
Second page.
155.
082.
Yeah, .082. And the reason I say that is,
Yeah.
a lot of the blowback last year was about, well, you guys got and had this meeting ahead of time and nobody got, well, right here explains why we did it that way. And why we could make changes at that point, because right here it is, you know? And so I would like to make sure this is in,
Yeah, and that was.
and I think it is, but
Yeah, and it is, I was looking for it because I brought it along, and that's what I was observing, me following through this, as I was going through my own subdivision and following through it, I'm going, okay, I pretty much know what to expect.
right.
And going through our current ordinance, I'm like, I'm all over the board and I know what to expect based on 3 pages. But 3 pages doesn't provide near enough information of what we're gonna look for on a final subdivision, so.
Well, and the pre-design conference, as I interpret it, you know, was when we sat down and say, oh, this corner marker's not right, it says southwest, it should say northwest. Oh, this road here isn't lined out right. Hey, this survey needs to be looked at, you know, hey, this,
Right.
and it's not a decision-making, it's a pre-design conference.
And if I remember, there's also a term in there that is, a new term that is, I think it's like technical review committee, which is before it would even come to this body to really go through
Right.
those pieces. So that when it does come to this body, you don't have to look at all those little
Not
minute
wasting
pieces.
time.
And
Yeah.
establishing a committee like that, you could pull people from this plan commission, I believe is how that would work, but you could also pull like a highway department employee to look at roads, easements, things like that.
And health
it would be
department.
smart
Health-
to
What
put
I'm
those
seeing is health
together.
department has a big say in a
Yes.
lot of this.
And if we had sewer and drainage, you know, that would be nice
Drainage board,
too.
yeah.
water board or whatever they called it. It doesn't exist anymore as far as I know, but.
Right. Well, that just deals with federal drains, and we have none.
Right.
So we're not required to have?
No.
So we
There
really
was-
would have
there
never
was a
had to have
debate-
a
there was-
drainage board at all.
There was a debate several years ago about the Howesville ditch.
Right.
But the Howesville ditch dumps into a creek, and then it comes into Owen County. So once we're involved with Howesville ditch, it's not a federal regulated ditch. It's a creek. And then you got DNR, you know, if you do things. A few years ago, the surveyor in Greene County was trying to get us to cough in about $8 million to clean that whole ditch as our part. And we got to looking, and that ditch isn't in Owen County. Just before it gets the county line, it dumps into Lick Creek and comes into Owen County. And we dodged a bullet on that
Just
one.
circling around, if everybody's okay with that, I'd be happy to try and redline it, working with Heather, to bring something back that's workable.
Okay.
So that we can use our brain power on what we need to.
Then, if everybody's agreeing, then there's no reason to proceed here until you get that.
Yeah.
Tell me what you think, guys.
I think it would be a good idea.
I think it'd be helpful.
Make a motion to close out.
I'd second that.
And I've got enough time where I'll definitely be able to get it done before our next meeting.
I'm happy to hear, Bill, that you've found a good section of the UDO, because
Yeah.
I have to say that my experience reading that document has not been, you know, jumping over the moon
Yeah.
with the phrasing or the structure, but if you are proposing that we sort of go that way and use that
Yeah.
as the building block, I'm happy to work with you.
Yeah, because really,
as well.
it's a framework.
Right.
And like I said, a lot of the verbiage is not appropriate for the county, I don't think.
Right.
And a lot of the requirements are not appropriate for this county.
Right.
But the framework itself, we probably do need to have a talking point on most of those items. And right now, we're silent on most of those, which means we need to make it up every time something comes to us.
And probably some modern terminology that
Yeah.
will
Lends
help us
itself to
logistically.
consistency.
Yeah, and all I will do is frame it up with no pre-positioning of, I think this is what it should be. I'll just try to frame it up of what is easy to follow, and here's the topics that really aren't appropriate. And you're gonna see all the red lines, and if you disagree, that's when we come back together and we talk about that.
So we do have a motion on the floor in a second that we would look at the UDO to, am I stating that right?
Yes, I do.
To do that. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I have one question no one's ever answered for me, and I don't know where you find it. So while you're digging, why do we change the zoning on a subdivision before we approve the subdivision? Aren't we building false hope that if we're not going to approve that as a subdivision, and we change the whole taxing structure of that property?
I don't know, that's how the current ordinance is written.
But it looks like we're getting the horse before the cart.
Yes.
And no one's explained to me why. I mean, I'm sure there's a reason, but it's above my pay grade to figure it out.
And if that's something you want to add it in there, it would be very easy to add in that a phrase, because I didn't see this phrase in there that you're bringing up, Bill. It'd be very easy to add in a phrase that if it is approved, the zoning is also approved.
And I think that would be important, because that's what we run into, because you cannot have a subdivision with 1 2-acre lots on agricultural land and fit within the ordinance. So agricultural, you have to have 5 acres per lot. So if you go in to do a subdivision on land that's agricultural, it just needs to say that, hey, if we do this subdivision, this also rezones the parcels. So.
And honestly, I would think that if you really challenge that rule, I mean, several years ago, we used to say a farm was 10 acres. Then come turkey barns. And you can have a major farm operation on 2 acres.
Right.
And USDA had to change their verbiage. And, you know,
I think it'd be appropriate to put the verbiage in to handle that. Because like you said, the one down here, the first step was residential. Well, now it's residential. If that doesn't come to fruition, we have a big farm of residential property there. You know,
we not only do that, but we also raise their taxes.
and we raise their taxes.
And they don't get the benefit of their raised taxes. I mean,
So
but to
I'm
me,
not-
it built false hope.
Right.
I'm not sure what was ever laid out that way. There's probably some reason way long ago, but to me, I mean, I'm just
Well-
one person, but
That would be, in my mind, that would be the developer saying, I don't want to spend the money of trying to get the subdivision approved if I know you're not going to approve the zone.
Right.
That's
That's,
how it
and,
happened.
That's probably what.
and we discovered last month in some of that, there was a thing about, talking about the point system. The point system was the first zoning thing we had, which was a real disaster. That you got so many points used by local builders, so much local, and it still referred to that, but we did away with all that. You know, but it was still in there, it's,
so as we're going through that, is this something we're gonna have to have the county attorney look at to make sure that we are not outside of a state, I mean, the UDO has references to the statutes and
No, I
things,
would
but
think you have to look at it.
if we edit it, we're gonna have to make sure that if we say, hey, look, when we do this, this also changes the zoning,
Yeah.
if that's even allowed.
Yeah, I
Make
think,
sure.
well, and with any of the ordinance changes currently happening anyways, everything you guys submit to the group of commissioners, the attorney has to be able to comb through and rewrite ordinances, and so he will be doing due diligence and double checking those things.
I thought as much, but I wanted to check.
I will also say, one of the things that I was going to ask that we address also today, which, I mean, if we're going to work through redlining, then it'll probably get addressed through that process, but the administrative subdivision definition doesn't limit the amount of lots that you, so you could put a 15 or 30 acre subdivision in through the administrative subdivision process if you can make it fit the rules by giving, you know, road frontage and 5 acres at least. And I think that that needs to be,
And I think when I
Like
read.
2 to 4.
When I read the UDO verbiage, I think it was much tighter than that, and I think it addressed that issue. And what I was looking at doing, wherever it says UDO at, that would come out and it would say county ordinance, county ordinance, county ordinance. And there was one other piece, wherever it referenced the state, because UDO, as it was designed, did reference, it always leaned on state, and that needs to stay in there. Because then that way we can lean on all of the expertise that's been built by the state through their process into our document.
there's one thing I'd like to change here, and I'm just thinking about it. I don't like the word redlining, because that has a different
Bank of
connotation
redlining, yeah.
in real estate.
Actually, I
that,
think you can blue line it as well. So if I remember right,
Whatever color
you
you
can
want.
blue line it, you can red line it, you can black line it.
redlining is illegal.
And you can yellow line it, but I can't see yellow lines, so
But
we'll see. if we
I
can-
understand your point, but
Yeah.
So the intent is you'll bring the document back, edited to the point that you have it at, and then we'll look at it and
Yep.
Well, maybe if we can-
make
If we can
any
get it
changes.
before next meeting, so we have time to look through it.
That sounds like, yeah, it'd be nice to have it ahead of time, if you can get it to her.
Couple
Yeah.
days
tomorrow would be
before.
I mean,
nice.
you can get me, you
Yeah.
can get me a Word version of it.
Tonight?
Tomorrow would be great.
I mean, I can work on it from home and then come in and we can put our heads down on it and look at it and see if there's any other modifications.
yeah, I can do that.
well, thank you all for being here. And I guess we go to public comment. Laura, you got anything to say? The only public we got.
Oh, come on, Lori.
He's still my heart. I just,
I will say at the very bottom of your packet there is a copy of the changes to the ordinances that you guys have built up so far and what was submitted to the commissioners and the county council. But on the back side, there's also a few of the things that I had put into the commissioners and council separately, that I listed separately.
So have they acted on any of that?
I have a response from the county attorney that said as soon as he gets the okay from the county commissioners, he can work on drafting that to bring back to the commissioners for review.
It's progress.
I don't think I see that on our agenda this time.
I think he's waiting on the commissioner response before he starts on any of that. so.
Okay. I'll ask him about it Thursday. See if he's waiting on one of us, and then we can get going on it.
Okay. Anyone else got any commission member have comments?
I like that bottom one.
Late today, right after my first job ended and came over here, I emailed you guys with the sample text of the junk automobile piece that we were talking about last week. I know you haven't had time to look at it, but if you check your email, you'll find it in there. It's borrowed from Marshall County, and it's right along the lines of our discussion, and just followed every point that we brought up in the meeting last week. So I think it would be a useful substitute for what we have in
So
the.
Heather, can you have that?
I sent it to everyone.
He just
I'm
emailed
just saying if she has it on the agenda.
Print it.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Thank you.
And you have the copy he's talking about, right?
I think I saw it in my email just a few minutes
Yeah, I
ago.
was just emailed before we got here.
Oh, just now?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
Yeah, I see that the clerk emailed you.
All right.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll second.
Properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, want to stay all night, same sign.